Hi. Oh, it's the Sparker Madness podcast. I'm Matt. That's Ben.
Sorry, we're having some screen issues here. There
Ben.
we go.
And that's Aaron.
There we
Got
go.
it. All right. Thank you for being compliant.
Compliance.
Last week we did, kind of early last week, we did Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
So much fun.
There's this weird loose thread of like relevance from week to week, and it's weird that this all started back with Spook of Madness, then went to Sleepy Hollow, which was a Tim Burton movie, and then we were like, hey, let's do another best Tim Burton movie, which was
His first movie.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then hey, Paul Reubens, hey, let's do this random Paul Reubens
I
movie.
wouldn't call that a loose thread.
Well, it's just
It's a thin thread.
it's just some random thing from the previous movie.
thread.
Let's do another one. And so Ben had a suggestion this week to do Flight of the Navigator, 1986. Ben, you were saying you watched this movie a lot growing up.
I did. Compliance.
So, and Aaron and I had never seen it.
Never,
Aaron,
ever.
You never saw it, right?
I knew of it, but had never seen it. To be honest, I thought it sounded dumb.
Do you still feel that way?
No.
What about the Frisbee dog intro with all the?
I think it's a good intro.
That was
You
the
know,
best part
I
of the
thought it was
movie.
good. A little. They did a couple fake
So
outs at
then
the
I
start.
think that was really good. So if you picture a little kid watching this,
Yeah.
you know, and there's a flying saucer in the preview, you know, whatever it is, and you see all this stuff. It was scary for a
You
little
got the
kid.
frisbees, you got the blimp, you got the water tower.
I love this movie, but I was scared too as a kid.
You were
watching this movie.
Of
scared?
Frisbees?
No, of this whole movie, like even like it was adventure to me.
It
you
was
know.
alien.
Interesting.
Yes. But you got to picture a kid watching this.
If you were to like, so for me, I would give like a kind of mean summary of what this movie is. How would you describe what this movie's about?
After watching it as an adult,
Yeah.
it's a tale of two halves.
Yeah.
Because
They're very different.
Because the first half's really good story. The second half's good too, but the first half is really good, like serious tone,
Well, it's like interesting setup.
concept.
Yeah, concept.
Very
Yeah.
well done, very simple, very great idea. It's like whoa, and like the kid was believable, scared, you know, at one point, and the second half was like, we're gonna make this more child friendly, but we really don't have a lot to do.
Mr. Reubens, can you pee-wee it up a bit?
Yeah.
But I'm saying like it was cool, like the payoff of the second half was cool, but then nothing really happened in the second half.
That's
Yeah.
the one thing I noticed is
It was kinda like-
what happened?
So so the premise though is that this kid, what's the kid's name? David.
It's not a good sign.
By the way,
Davey.
yeah, David. Are you guys aware? I didn't write down exactly all of the things he was charged with, but as an adult, David was busy.
What
you
did he
mean
do?
the actor?
Yeah, the actor.
He wasn't an actor, though. I think he works at a
He's
store
gotten
now.
arrested quite a bit.
What did
Was he
do?
navigating without a license?
What did he do? Did he jack off in a movie theater?
Right after I said this show was kid friendly on YouTube,
Is this show kid friendly?
I think
we had to
checked the
tick a
middle
box.
In the middle box?
There's no middle box. There's one or the other.
It's okay. They'll just go back and censor you out.
Yeah,
of this,
we'll be fine. We're not making money anyway.
outlawed.
That'd be so funny if people just like break through these windows like Christmas Vacation
Yeah.
and swing in. No, so David.
What did David do? I'm curious.
Well, so he had a lot of like little petty crimes in the early mid 2000s, and then like a couple years ago, it was like some armed bank heist. I think he was part of, if I remember right. I was quickly reading it on Wikipedia because every time you look up Flight of the Navigator movie pictures, when maybe Aaron, you saw it when prepping the graphics, that one of the first ones is his like mugshot as an adult is like goes with
I
it.
did not catch it. I was doing the graphics at warp speed last night.
Okay.
So.
He's like, but I'm the navigator. Give me your money.
So the idea is that David accidentally he stumbles and goes forward in time 8 years, but he doesn't age at all.
Goes forward is a might not be the right way to put it, but I will accept
He
it.
just like he trips and falls, and then when he wakes up, it's 8 years later.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the experience. And then it's NASA gets involved, and it's all about figuring out how this happened. And
No, what happens? He trips and falls, and he wakes up. You think it's in like seconds, but it's 8 years. And then there's a big crash.
He hasn't aged.
he shows up at his
You know,
old
but-
house, and it's random people.
Yeah, it's random
and stuff.
people, and he
Yeah.
finds his parents. They're
He's been
older, and he
dead for
realizes
10
he's younger. It was really that was an emotional sequence.
His brother's older.
His brother's older, who
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
get along with when he was little.
Jeff.
And then all of a sudden you find out there's a big craft that crashes into a power line. NASA takes it over, and they find out that David and that craft are connected somehow. So
Yeah.
They try to guinea pig on David, and the craft lures him to the spot because he can enter.
can, like, mind meld
They can't
with
enter
it.
the craft because there's no seams. They don't know how to get through. They try.
Yeah, they don't
everything.
know. They can't get into
But
it.
he has a connection with the craft, and you find out there's a robot. What's the robot's name?
Max something.
Max.
He named it Max.
He named it
Yeah.
Max.
There were two robots.
Max
One was
Power?
named Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph. Yeah, but I remember being a kid.
that, like,
So he gets in, and then they escape,
cart.
and then a mini adventure ensues. But he tries to go back to his family, but realizes he can't live in this reality because it's this. But it's dangerous because we found out the Max robot that's from a different planet that's programmed by other aliens. Goes and collects species and puts them back on the same time so that they don't uninterrupt them. But to study these species, he was one of them. But he found out he couldn't do time travel because it might kill David.
Yeah.
But it didn't. So.
But it didn't. 'cause
That was actually really fun. with Just skipping straight
but then,
to the very end.
but then he realized he can't do it. Then he goes back in time, and
Could they not have done a Spaceballs where his head was on backwards or something?
But he didn't. He kept one of the aliens.
That was the weird thing about David is like he comes back, he sees NASA and the cops are at his parents' house. It's still the future to him, 1986, and he's like, "No, I can't live here because I'll be experimented on." And Max, which is Paul Reubens, is like, "Well, you'll probably get vaporized if we try to go back." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll risk it." He's like, he's not going to risk it.
But it wasn't like that.
You know what?
No, I think you're really underselling it. It was actually they made it more dramatic.
In
than
that situation,
How?
I might have the same response.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was more. It was
His experience was he was put in a room for like 24 hours. Part of that was he got to sit in a chair and at any time get
in
up.
jail.
Not really.
He was locked in
jail.
a room.
He was locked in jail. He couldn't wander around.
He couldn't do personal phone calls alone.
Yeah, but why would that be his?
There wasn't even a Nintendo in there.
I guess.
exist
I'm
yet.
being hard on it.
That's the first thing I looked for. I remember.
What do you think I was looking for?
Is there an NES?
Where's the bells and whistles? It's
I mean,
1986.
They don't even have an Atari.
Yeah. Well, this movie was made in 78. Never mind.
No, it was made in 1986.
What?
1986.
I read it wrong then.
78 or 1978 was when it was set. The first.
Well, I know
one.
that.
Yeah.
I read it wrong. Never mind.
Anyways,
Go
no,
on.
but I get that didn't bother me at all.
The end. I thought the end
No.
was dumb.
No, I thought the end was.
No,
It made sense.
it's an interesting little
It's a
dilemma
risk.
because
Yeah.
if you were put in a situation where it's a timeline that you really don't belong in, given the choice to possibly
Very
die
Star
and
Trek
fix
science
it,
fiction trope.
Yes, but
That works.
it's a great setup. Here's two things I'll bring up that I think I don't know if you'll disagree, but I think it'll be compelling. So, what would have made this movie better is if they really embraced the first half of what it feels like as a kid to go to the future. They never really explored they didn't really dive in to just how different his life was from an age and I am now younger, everybody's older. We didn't meet his friends and see that they're older and then he has to re-engage with them.
and we never got to see Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they wanted to set up that the spaceship. If
Well,
they
I
did that-
understand,
and
but
it's really a short movie, and they
is pretty
they
short.
probably cut a lot out of it to keep it for kids.
Yeah,
do. They
they
prioritized
covered enough with his brother.
They prioritized the fun little romps that they did with the radio and the singing to the music.
Yeah,
and-
but what I think
yeah.
they should have done. So I think what would have fixed this movie if they had a better adventure with him and the alien.
Yeah, it was a
'Cause
little
they're
weak.
yeah, I think so. What they probably need to do is go interstellar and go somewhere else on a different planet. You know what I mean? but they wanted that like.
You wanted more Last Starfighter in your.
No, I just think it was just kind of like there's really nothing to do. They're just wandering around.
To me, I would have preferred more of the concept and then bring the spaceship in. I don't know, the Paul Reubens thing. It was kind of funny, I guess, but
it was what kept me in it.
But I think
we approached it very differently.
But I think that design. I think special effects wise, this movie still
it was
holds
great.
up.
Yeah, it was.
That's
good.
early CGI. Did you know that of the ship and sequences?
Some of it
It'd
holds
have
up
to be, yeah.
surprisingly
Even
well.
the in-set interiors are cool design.
It was a cool design.
Very
for
cool
sure.
design.
It was very Power Rangers.
Yeah, very chrome.
But it was Power Rangers before Power Rangers. To me, it was more. I don't know. It had
Power Rangers is not a pejorative.
You know-
I really liked
know-
the steps. Every time they had
You know
the
it's an
steps
optical
come
illusion
out.
that they did that?
Yeah. I
So-
was trying to figure
Explain
out what
that.
they were
I
doing.
was
It's like,
I was
so
trying to
there
think
was
of it.
really thin rods from a different perspective that were holding those
Holding
up
it together,
And
yeah.
you had the camera like it's almost like forced perspective. But
That
like,
is, I believe I've seen this movie on TV, and I remember seeing like metallic steps floating, and being like, "That's weird."
So what would happen? So the cool effect though was this impenetrable ship. Whenever it was like David comes over, it would like liquefy a part of it and
They didn't
open
use the
up,
Transformers
and
sound.
then
I
it
was
would
disappointed.
have these steps that are just floating there, and he would step and run up.
I love the design of the interior. I love the whole thing. It's
I liked
timeless.
the aliens. I loved the aliens.
Me too.
That's what I really liked.
But I also, to me, this like especially the interior of the ship has a really 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea vibe of like the Nautilus feel to it. Like it's very alien, but yet somehow familiar.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. The mom is the one girl that
She looked familiar.
She's an alien.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't put that
She's-
together.
I could not make the connection.
She's the one that freaks out.
Yeah.
and
Gets killed at the end there.
right.
And then, did you see who else is in it?
Who was it?
The young girl.
Who did I miss?
Oh, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica
Yeah.
Parker.
Everyone saw that
That was
nose.
like her first movie.
She
You know, one of
had
her-
like
It's
two
kinda hard to
scenes,
miss
and that was
her.
it.
This is like came after a year, I think, of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yes.
And I found out that the director is the director of Grease, who also directed Pee-wee's Big Top Pee-wee, who also directed some other movies that were pretty good.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And also, it was originally a Norwegian project that they lost funding, and then Disney picked it up.
Huh.
Yeah. And Paul Reubens didn't want was trolling, and just wanted to see if people would recognize him or not. But he changed his name to Paul.
Yeah.
Something or
Changed
other.
it to something else. Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie, I was hearing the voice, and I knew that you said it was him, and I was like, that doesn't sound very much like
to
him.
me, it was as a kid. I was like,
I
he's
didn't put
Peter
it.
Herman.
I didn't put it together until
he
they
became
changed
Pee-wee.
the personality.
Yeah, it's still his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just
Turns out his voice is pretty normal.
Yeah, Paul Reubens. And then this is the director does here. He has he directed Grease. Grease.
Did not care for that movie.
Grease. I didn't like it either.
No. Sandy.
He created. The Blue Lagoon. I've never seen that movie.
Never seen it.
No.
This guy's track record is not looking
Summer
good.
Lovers and Fly the Navigator. Big Top Pee-wee. Right after this, 1988.
It's all right.
White Fang. I actually like that movie.
I think I've seen that.
It's actually pretty good. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
That one was okay. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. What else you
It's
got?
My Party. What is this all about?
I don't know. Is it important?
No.
You know, you guys were talking about how to make the space adventure more interesting. I have a deleted scene that you may not have come across.
Oh,
Makes it
Let's
lots
watch
more
it.
interesting. Here, let me cue it up.
Little walk in space never hurt anyone. Ain't get enough of that sugar crisp.
Yeah, they run into aliens and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Such a specific joke.
Ty, I hope you're watching.
What is that? Sugar
Sugar
Crisp.
Bear.
Sugar crisp.
Sugar Bear, Sugar Crisp.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
So the CGI was kind of advanced CGI at the time because it had
It looked good.
It
well,
felt
had
expensive.
reflection. If you in that
All
scene
the
you
different lights and stuff
Well,
all the way through. Yeah.
in that scene you showed us, if you look closely, there's reflection of the people and the environment
Yeah.
around that, and it still holds up. You
Yeah.
know.
They go underwater at one point. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and the aliens were funny.
The big eye.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. It was a little on the eyeball.
On the lid,
On the lid, thank you. That was a better way to put it.
On the lid.
on the pupil.
Very nice.
But I think the design of this was pretty good. I think there's some really good writing, especially at the very beginning. You don't think it was good writing, like the good concept?
It was
and good writing?
compelling, maybe not good.
It's a good setup concept. Yes.
There was one little thing.
They didn't. I don't think they played it through really well. It was just this happened, and it happened to be an alien. And it was okay, a funny like spaceship romp.
Like you said, it was a tale of two parts, and it really felt like it just kind of clicked.
I also think this was Disney didn't.
They didn't know what they wanted, did they?
Well, they didn't know. Well, I think they didn't promote this right. I think this could have been more popular.
I mean, here's the problem I keep coming back to with it is that
I think the aerial shots are awesome.
at one point,
I think all those aerial shots were so cool, going through the clouds and speed up. That looked beautiful.
at one point, an alien wants to go home. We also have this like loose go back in time, go back to my time via this ship, and we have to do this certain combination of mind to use this vehicle to go back in time.
You have to say the secret words.
We
and
then
summon the
have
invisible sword.
basically Paul Reubens being Pee Wee Herman for half of the movie. Like it just feels like this mishmash of things that came before it, just to combine it into a new thing that's hopefully unique.
But if you knew the target audience, if you watched this as a kid, you probably would have liked it better.
well, that's fine. I'm just
Really? 'Cause I
yeah, I'm
think
sure
I
I
think-
would have.
Yeah, so we're critiquing it as adults.
I know, but I'm critiquing it as the target audience.
Sure.
You know? And I think
That's one
sometimes-
consideration to make.
Sometimes we look at it with everything has to be the Godfather eyes, Matt.
No, for a kids movie, it's fine. But even for a kids movie, I wouldn't rate this that high because there are other ones that. The ones that came before, it very much feels like it's just
What other
smashing them
ones
together.
came before?
Feels like E.T. and Back to the Future, like
I don't think
brings
it feels
Pee-wee together, and
Very
it just
tenuous relation
I don't
to Back
see
to the Future.
I don't see the Back to the Future.
Well, it's the
Maybe
time
the-
travel
maybe the
thing. They're
ET.
trying it to me.
Back to the Future doesn't own time travel. This is space and time. This is
Back to the
different.
Future. When did Back to the Future come
this
out?
is more like an abduction movie because they're not the same.
How is it an abduction movie?
Because he was abducted.
He was abducted.
There's no part of the movie. An abduction movie is like I pick you up and I'm gonna.
And you drop him back off, and time has changed. Seriously, that is like if you ever seen Fire in the Sky,
Yeah.
like that's basically one of the abduction movies. Like most people think of abductions that time has passed. Like so when they've been picked up.
That was a Steven Seagal, wasn't it?
What?
Fire in the Sky?
No.
What was it?
I forget.
See, it's been so long.
I think the Evil T-1000 was in it.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He's great.
But in alien abduction cases, time, like when people feel like they got abducted, they think, oh, it's only been an hour or this, but it's been like 24 hours or 2 days, you know, that have passed. So they're taking that idea.
That appeals to real human
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with time travel in terms of Back to the Future. It deals with time.
But they time travel at the end.
Well, space time continuum. But like, I never saw that as that. I just think you're a bitch.
I'm seeing the timeline of movies that came immediately before this, and seeing that they took the ideas from those and slapped them into this movie.
The only thing that it has in common with Back to the Future is the composer.
Oh, yeah, Silvestri.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this.
What
score
movies
even-
hasn't he done?
He hasn't done E.T.
Okay, well, there's always that.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you I don't like E.T.? I feel like I'm the only one.
You do say that. You've said that
We'll
a
have to
couple
talk
times.
about it
Yeah,
when we
maybe-
do the
maybe
E.T.
some-
Is that what we're doing next week?
No. No.
Please no.
No.
I'm looking forward to whatever the loose thread is from this one.
You know what my biggest disappointment with this movie was?
Bing Crosby movie.
Bing Crosby wasn't in it.
Well, he was in the deleted scene.
He was
in the
original.
deleted
He was
scene.
original voice of Max. But you're the navigator. Not like a little spacewalk and navigate anywhere.
My biggest disappointment when he was in the NASA stuff like area, and they were giving him stuff.
Hold on. Say it again. NASA
My
area.
biggest disappointment was when they had him in NASA. I wanted them to be more like sinister, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Like spying on him more. Like when they handed him the NASA hat, I was like, ooh, that hat like blocks the alpha waves in his brain or something, or it reads his mind so they can tell what he's doing, or it's a tracker or something. Nah. I was expecting something there. But no, they were just being nice.
But no Nintendo.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
Nintendo. That's how they tortured him.
It was the perfect time for it.
But
1986.
But if you were a kid back in 1986 and they gave you a Nintendo with a bunch of games,
you could die happy.
Fuck, I'll stay at NASA. That was the difference. Like that was the difference. I gotta watch my language because we were supposed. I realized that YouTube has made me an algorithm.
We were talking before that we were.
The
we don't
algorithm
cuss-
has spoken.
We don't cuss that much.
But we said the
today.
F. We say the F bomb. You like said we never say the F bomb.
For transparency with anyone that may be watching, if you do anything that YouTube considers not kid friendly, they will bend you over a table in a matter of speaking. It's not fun. And there's new terms of service coming out soon, so that's something we have to look forward to.
The end of YouTube.
Our two viewers
Used to be the Wild West. It used to be the Wild West back in the day.
2004, baby, when anything went.
We need a new YouTube.
No one's gonna let that happen.
You know what we should call it?
What?
Me TV.
Isn't that already a thing?
Is it?
Like I feel like I've heard that name before.
Tubi.
Tubi?
Or not Tubi. I don't care what you want to say.
Did he just set that up and we knocked
We
it
just
back
went right,
perfectly
walked right
on cue?
into it.
Actually, I did not set that up. I was
Oh.
actually making a joke at
He's too
Matt-
smart to have set that up.
Yes, I'm too stupid to set it up because you said Tubi and it triggered my Rolodex.
Oh yeah,
Rolodex.
the infamous Rolodex.
Infamous. Anything
very
else
big.
about this movie?
I would say that overall, as
It's a good movie. It's got a cult following.
is usually the case, I find myself between both of your opinions because I'm the reasonable one. It's a mishmash, but it was an enjoyable mishmash.
So, yeah.
That's kind of how I saw it.
So I'll rate it.
Okay, you could rate it if you like.
Well, we're a little early, aren't we?
We can rate it. We should probably talk out loud about whatever movie we're gonna do. We could fill time
Okay,
that
so-
way. But what did you give this movie?
So
Behind the scenes.
my biggest complaint is the second half of this movie. First half's a really good setup, but the second half isn't as good. It's cool and all, but it was just too kiddish for me, and they didn't really do anything. They just wandered around. There was no goal. Just this happened.
Yeah.
Where everything else in the movie, everything was happening. Every action led to reaction.
It's like what we were talking about with Pee Wee a little bit of what was it like because of or
Right.
and
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah.
This has a little bit of the and then
In the
for
second half.
Yeah.
for sure. And it does give it more feeling of realism. Sometimes you're just
Sometimes things just happen.
sometimes you're not a navigator on this ship. You're just a passenger.
That was deep, dude.
Deep thoughts.
In the words of Chekhov. The Deep Winter. As Chekhov said in The Deep Winter, nobody will get that except for Aaron.
Thank you.
I will give this, if I'm going to be honest, a 6 out of 10. Because I think it's if you're a fan of, movies.
Are you sure you're not being too specific?
No, if you, I think a certain niche people would like this movie. People
Niche
grew
is
up
the
on the
word.
Disney Channel because I remember this being on the Disney Channel as a kid.
Really?
Yeah. We used to play it on the Disney Channel a lot.
Like in what year range?
Early 90s.
Okay.
90s.
I didn't catch the Disney Channel till much later. I didn't realize it existed till I was in high school.
Yeah, it didn't play by then. That's when they had their own original stuff.
Yeah, it was
This is when they played movies and shit.
right.
Stuff.
You're so uncouth.
I want to see if Aaron is right. Is in the middle or not?
In the middle,
Given your
huh?
rating, I'm gonna give it a 3. But I don't disagree with anything you just said. I think it's just the difference in our scales are just different.
Matt's a snob,
Yeah,
and I'm not.
I am. I do think a very certain audience would love this movie. I'm not saying that.
And like the technical prowess this movie had, like the technology,
they put
like
the
special
work in.
effects.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Well,
For the time, it's
And
very
the
impressive.
and the setup is great.
early
I mean, it's a
CGI,
really interesting
early CGI,
idea.
like in space, in day, light. You know, the
Yeah.
composite look like it's really good. It's really good. And I think
The
that's probably
spaceship was really cool.
yeah.
To be fair, Chrome is very easy to do in computer graphics, but that's neither here nor there.
Quiet you.
Remember when they
Sure,
went to
man.
Tokyo in this movie?
Yeah.
Just really
They're,
briefly.
they're like,
just pop on over.
give me that green blue screen. This is blue screen back then.
Yeah.
Give me that Japanese people take lots of pictures joke.
Yeah.
That's actually where they started the movie from.
Well, it
it was
wasn't
like
a
that
high
was their
budget-
first idea,
Yeah.
and then they built everything
Actually,
else around
they
that.
shot all the special effects stuff in Norway.
Oh.
Yeah. But they lost money.
As
And
one
then-
tends to
and
do.
And then Disney bought it.
I see.
Oh, well.
Aaron, what would you give this movie?
Well, being that I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, but I still enjoyed it, that places it solidly at a 4. Like the 5 is everyone should see it, at least as I see the rating system. So I think it is fair to give it a 4.
And I want to say this. I think that's a good rating. And this is one of the movie I like, I love The Flight of the Navigator. It's like, I like The Flight of the Navigator. You know what I mean?
Good
Good
it.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't a kid like, I love it, like I do Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
it
just-
will be a fight if you say that's bad.
So because I even brought it up earlier, but there were, I guess, some vague similarity. Last Starfighter and this, which one's better?
Oh, Last Starfighter.
Okay.
Probably,
See, I feel the
yeah.
same
Oh,
way.
Last Starfighter is an amazing movie.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Last Starfighter is awesome. This
Agreed.
movie is good.
But small addendum to what I said. I am not sorry that I saw this movie.
yeah, this movie is good. Last Starfighter is awesome.
It's a gem.
I don't know what movie we're gonna do next week.
I have no
I guess we'll
idea.
have to figure it out. I'm sure it'll be very.
Big
No,
top
no, please no.
Is The Irishman come out next
The
week?
Aviator. No, I don't.
You guys cannot get
I think
your
it's
facts
2
straight.
weeks from now. 2
So
weeks.
so when are we going to start our holiday stuff? Do you want to do that early?
Oh yeah.
Do we want? Sure. Why not?
Because there's a new
Oh, we could do Klaus.
Claus.
Claus? What is this? What is this clause?
So Netflix, this would be cool because it comes out next week.
Okay.
It's a 2D animated film that
I very much.
a guy
wanna see
who
it. Yeah.
worked for Disney back in the day has produced this on its own, and it's done in Spain. I saw the preview for this. It came out in theaters last week. Just didn't come out in theaters, but now it's come to Netflix because it's a Netflix original. But it looks beautiful. It looks like classic 2D.
That's what we've been clamoring for.
Yeah, so I kind of want to
It's
see this.
all everyone keeps reassuring that even though there are scenes that look 3D, they say it is all 2D.
It's all 2D.
So like,
it's kind of a new.
if it
kind
looks like that just shows how impressive the 2D
Just the way
Marketing
this-
teams have never lied
just the
before.
way that-
never.
Well, it has a.
Well, I
it's a
heard it from
Spider-Man
animators,
Yeah.
like the animators I
Yeah.
follow on Twitter. are
Well, you know
saying
that paper short, the
Yeah,
paper
yeah,
plane.
yeah.
It looks a little bit like that, but better. But also, it has a little bit of Spider-Man into Spider-Verse 2, a little bit too, with
Okay.
some of the feel to it.
If it comes out this weekend, let's do it.
Yeah, I think we should do
Disney.
that.
There isn't it. Disney?
No, this is Netflix.
Disney,
This
but
is his own thing.
it's animated.
This is his own thing.
Sure. I'm trying to think of the thread.
Disney didn't
there is
invent
no thread.
animation.
There's none.
It's okay.
Well.
Paul Reubens is in it. Speaking of Paul, he's not in it. But speaking of Paul Reubens, what do you think is his favorite sandwich?
Oh no. This joke. I cannot allow this joke.
All right.
His favorite sandwich